Let's start with the exit bans on the U.S. citizens. Talk to me about that. What it means? Are they sending a message? What's going on here?
Well, this is something that's happened repeatedly over the years. It has been a more prominent feature since China a few years ago passed a national security law. And that national security law hit on things like their Chinese sovereignty over data that was in their country, which might include international firms' corporate information. It also held out the question whether corporate executives would be free to leave if there were, say, some government questions about who they were talking to or what they were up to that the Beijing decided they needed answers to before they went. So we've had a few different executives who've been held up. In this case, recently, though, we had a U.S. government official that was among those that was held up for a time. And really, it doesn't make good rational sense. And I don't even know what Beijing thinks they get out of it other than the flex, because the Trump administration has made very clear from the president onward that they're trying to negotiate with China. That while there's been a lot of talk about decoupling, some of which coming from people like me, that the Trump administration is looking for a balanced position in between. And the president goes on at length about how he's good friends with Xi Jinping and that things are going great with China. Some of which I think is sort of trying to shape mood music. I don't believe the president can possibly think things are excellent. But at the same time, if you got all of that in your Beijing, why pee in the Cheerios over something like this? And that's all this is. This is 100% negative for
Right. Yeah.
China, but they do
Right
it.
now, the Chinese Foreign Ministry is right now trying to translate "pee in the Cheerios." Um,
It's
understand
an ancient
exactly what the
idiom
hell
that goes way back to Lao Tzu.
So, does anybody? I mean, are there any world leaders that actually have a good relationship with Xi Jinping? Is that a possibility?
Well, I think there are several leaders who think they do,
Yeah.
and that is a problem when they think that, but it's not real. Some of them are supposed to be U.S. allies. I mean, I remember the leader of France saying really tough things about how the U.S. doesn't take the threat from Russia seriously enough, and then went and did a really white glove dance with Xi Jinping in China. The French leaders seem to be misguided in imagining he had a great relationship. Some of them are our adversaries, are not our friends. I mean, Putin thinks he's got a great relationship with Xi Jinping. I doubt deeply, based on history and decades of development, that that is actually something that will pay off in a time of crisis. That's transactional right now with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But over time, Xi Jinping and the leadership he's got will take advantage of anybody. I just think that it's delusional for people to think they have that. I don't think it's delusional to talk that way if what you're trying to do is to talk someone into negotiations or come to a table for a meeting. And that's sort of tactical versus do you really believe it?
Yeah, there's always that sort of that window dressing that goes on around any foreign relationship or diplomatic effort. So I take your point there. The Chinese regime has said that the Wells Fargo banker, a U.S. citizen that they're holding, have issued the travel ban on, is part of, without giving details, part of a criminal investigation. They haven't given a reason for the U.S. Commerce employee being held. Um, Talk to me about, from a Western perspective, how would you describe the rule of law in China?
Yeah, well, it is the CCP controls every element of government. They make the laws. Those are the rules. You must follow them. And it's
Mhm.
not really open to interpretation by anyone but them. It can mean whatever they want it to mean whenever they decide they want to exercise some influence or coercion. What is often very conspicuous in these cases, not 100%, but too often, they do this to people who are ethnically Chinese. So they're a U.S. citizen, but what the message they convey is You owe an allegiance to your ethnic motherland more than anywhere else you may claim to be a citizen, and you will follow our rules. And then, oddly, they try to put a European ideology, communism and socialism, as the ultimate power on top of this ethno state that they're trying to define and control. So there's more than a little bit of racism in this that doesn't really get much of the focus of the world that wants to find every sin in Western civilization. And here's a giant moat in the eye of Beijing as they do this. But that's one of the things that's in there. But it really also goes back to this national security law where they'll accuse people who in the financial industry are doing normal due diligence as trying to access information that is, air quotes, a state secret. And
Right.
that is fundamentally the clash of our economic civilizations right now.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.